how the elements of map projection are taken into account. So elements of map projection are basically four. What are the major elements? The first element here is the reduced earth. What do we mean by reduced earth? Reduced earth means the actual thing on the ground is being reduced through a means of a scale, and that scale represents how many centimeters or how many kilometers on ground would be equivalent to how many centimeters on the sheet of paper. It could be the unit of kilometers or centimeters, it could be miles and inches, any unit that you are trying to use. Okay, so the scale basically explains the real distance on the ground versus the distance on the sheet of paper. So reducing earth is one of the most important things. The next important thing is the parallels or the latitudes, how those would be defined, how we would be drawing the parallels and longitudes, we would understand in a while. The third is definitely if you are drawing the parallels, the map would be incomplete if there are no meridians or no longitude. So you have meridians that would be drawn. And the fourth and the most important is the global properties. Now these global properties are what? As we said, trying to best maintain the area, the shape, the size and the direction. So those are the key things that you are trying to maintain when you are representing this globe on a sheet of paper. To begin with, we can classify map projection in various ways. So we would focus on four ways through which we can actually classify the map projection. Global properties, since we have understood in the previous section, those are the most fundamental, so we'll start with this. Under the global properties, we have the area, shape, direction and distance that are maintained. When I am saying that I am maintaining the area, that means these are equal area projection. That means whatever latitudes and longitudes are being drawn, the area of A, B, C, D would be equal here, and therefore we call it as, this name itself, equal area projection. The next one is maintaining the shape. As we already said, this is orthomorphic. So I am trying to best maintain the real shape of each of the continents. So let's say if my projections are too much diverted, the shape of Africa could get larger, the shape of Africa could get reduced. To avoid all those kinds of changes and fluctuations in the originality, we say it must be true to its shape. True shape is also known as orthomorphic projection. We'll see in a while which of the projections are orthomorphic, which of the projections you have conservation of area and so on. The next is direction. The idea is azimuthal projection, as it is called as, or maintaining the true bearing. Bearing explains the direction. So true direction is being maintained by the azimuthal projection, and this shows the direction of all the points from the center, and it says that the direction of point A, B, C and D is being equally and correctly represented. So what is the idea under direction? Conserving or maintaining the direction is true direction, which is known as azimuthal projection, and finally we have maintaining the true distance, which is also known as equidistant. Now of these, definitely equal area and the area where you are trying to preserve the area is called as equal area. Where you are trying to preserve the distance, it is known as equidistance. Those two are the most simplest and the easiest things to remember. So the distance from point A to B in this scenario would be maintained, and that would remain the same, be it the north hemisphere, be it the south hemisphere, or be it the region of equator. So that is one type of map projections. Coming on to the next is based on the drawing surface. Based on the drawing surface, I can say the projection can be perspective, non-perspective or mathematical. Perspective implies that I am focusing a light source on the object. So let's say this is the earth and on this earth I have a torch that is glowing here, and this light source is being maintained, and with that we form a drawing surface. The light and the imprint on the sheet of paper would be understood, and that would give me a projection, and this would be known as a perspective projection. Non-perspective projection, definitely if perspective requires light, non-perspective would require no light source. So there would be no casting of light that would be done on the globe in the case of non-perspective projection. The last is mathematical or conventional projections. Now these were some of the most ancient kinds of projections, and these were based on mathematical calculations. Good example are Molevitt projection, sinusoidal projection, which is also known as Sampson-Flamsteed projection, and then you have Homolocene projections, as you can see here. The next is based on the developable or the non-developable surface. So, globe is considered as a non-developable surface. I cannot develop this on a flat sheet of paper with good accuracy, and this is a non-developable surface. Then, how do we define developable surfaces? Developable surfaces can be defined in numerous ways. Let's say I take a cone and I keep this cone on this earth. So consider this to be earth. Okay, now I am keeping the cone here. Now when I am trying to represent the region which is being covered by the cone on the sheet of paper which is here, I'll just simply open it up, and this would show the drawing of half of the earth. So I am representing, let's say, north hemisphere or south hemisphere, whatsoever we are trying to take on the sheet of the paper through a conical projection. So this is known as conical projection. The next way of representing is I take the earth, and on the earth I develop a cylindrical projection. So I develop a cylinder around the earth's surface, and what I do is I try to take an imprint of the earth's surface on the sheet of paper, and this would show me a cylindrical projection. The next type of projection is the zenithal projection. Now zenithal projection means the plane surface is tangent. That means, let's say this is the plane surface and this is tangent to the sphere. That means it touches the sphere on just one point. Now there could be three kinds of zenithal projection. One is when it is touching the pole area. So this is the north pole and the south pole where my fingers are. So let's say this is touching the south pole on the sheet of paper. So this becomes a polar projection. Now where my fingers are now is the equator. Now if this sheet of paper touches here, it becomes equatorial projection, and when the sheet of paper touches somewhere between the equator and the pole, that is this region, this becomes a oblique projection. So there are three kinds of further projections that we can understand from the zenithal projection. So first of all, within the developable surfaces, you have a cylindrical projection, a conical projection, and a zenithal projection. Zenithal projection, if it is on the poles, it would be considered as a polar projection. If it is on the equator, it would be an equatorial projection. If it is somewhere between equator and pole, it is considered as an oblique projection. So those are the important types of projections based on developable surface. Coming on to the last and the most interesting one, and that is based on the source of light. Now, based on the source of light, I have this sphere again here. Where is my source of light? Source of light could be on three of the places. If I am trying to track this place, I can keep the source of light opposite to it. My source of light could be infinite, or my source of light could be within this center. Let's say I dig a hole and put a torch there. So that would be the source of light. So three different sources of light that could be seen here. Now, the first source of light, which I say is in the center of the globe, is known as the gnomonic projection. The next is when the light source is diametrically opposite to the region that I am trying to trace. In that case, I am having the light from here trying to trace the other region. That would be known as the stereographic projection. And the last one here is the orthographic projection, where the light source is actually coming from infinite. So those are the important types of projections and the classifications of projections that we have seen.